I want to make it clear. I'm not advocating for or against the
Sure,
change.
I know.
I'm just saying that when you think the time is right, let's go.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics. Keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
I feel really bad about this because you don't have the same option, but I may just start driving to Blue.
Okay.
It's not cost effective,
But it's a quality of life thing.
It's a quality of life thing, and it literally...
I'll be honest.
Yeah?
There's a couple things where I'm like, this is not cost effective, but if I have to be at 2 stores 6 days a week, this is a thing I'm going to do just for my quality of life, and it's food delivery.
Yeah.
It's a thing where, like, I could pack a lunch, but the minor, like, crummy fast food that gets brought to me is... I don't want to say it fixes my day sometimes, but it definitely is something I can look forward to.
Helps you get through the day?
Yes. It is a small positive thing I can depend on, except for the fact that frequently DoorDash has restaurants go missing, and also it takes 3 times as long for no apparent reason.
Yeah, I mean, since I get those emails,
Yeah.
You've been getting boned.
Fridays.
This week especially, or was it last week, Friday?
Yeah, it's mostly Fridays, because I push back. I have pushed back when I have lunch on Fridays.
Why, Dal? Why would you do that?
I forget why, something about a podcast. But because I do that, like, that pushes my lunch into like 3 to 5 p.m., which is apparently when everything goes wrong on DoorDash. So I think I'm probably just gonna do grab a donut in the morning in addition to my breakfast, and save the donut for like 5 or 6 o'clock, and then have lunch at lunchtime. I think I'll probably do that in the future, because when I get lunch at like 2 or 3, it's a lot easier than when I get it at 3 or 4.
Huh, that's weird.
I've just noticed that. I don't know.
So, I had a parking hookup, but it altered, and it winds up being, like, it'd be a great deal if I was commuting to River North 5 or 6 days a week.
Sure.
Then it would be 100% worth it, totally worth the money.
But not for 3 days?
But not for 3 days. 3 days, it's the same as parking in the lot, but it's also further away than the lot is.
Do you want to start working my River North days as well, so I can have those days off?
You'll
do both stores.
Yeah, I can do both stores. That's fine. And even though, like, I take the price, in my head, I'm like, well, the parking costs X amount per day.
Right.
So that's a lot. But commuting is still $5 a day.
At least, yeah.
I mean, it's $5 a day just to get to the store.
Yep.
So if I don't do the food that the deliveries you're doing, and just bring a lunch, like, it kind of balances out.
Okay.
I mean, I feel bad, like I said, when I started this, you don't have that option. I mean, I drive you there 1 day a week.
Thanks.
But that's not, I mean, there's 6 trips.
Yeah.
There's still 5 more trips you need.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I feel guilty about that because...
Oh, man, I don't mind at all.
You don't have the option that I have.
This is a decision I made when I moved to the city years ago, was that I did not want a car in the city. That I could have kept my car. I could have a car right now if I really wanted to. I really don't. I would prefer not to. I don't mind public transit. I mean, obviously, like, it's a bit of a burden in the wintertime as far as scheduling things so you're not literally freezing outside.
Yeah.
But it's a small price to pay for never having to worry about parking, for never having to worry about starting my car up in the dead of night in winter, never having to worry about car repairs and insurance costs and a million other things that you have to worry about in the city.
Right now, I need an oil change. It's that time. And I have to think, like, what morning can I sacrifice to do it?
Yeah. No, I'm do not feel bad for me having to take public transit in Chicago. I'm okay with it.
Okay.
There are frustrations, but it's no more frustrating than it would be having a car. If anything, it's substantially less frustrating. And I'm really looking forward to, like, spring and summer days, and maybe even some fall days, when I can walk to River North.
Wow. Yeah, that's...
Like, that, I feel like that's something I'm really going to enjoy doing. Not every day,
Sure.
but the occasional, like, yeah, I'll get up a couple hours early and walk in.
What do you think the time frame for that is?
Wait, like how long it would take me?
Yes.
Oh, I think I mapped it at one point, and it's like as much as an hour and a half, maybe closer to like an hour 15 or an hour.
Okay, so that means 2 hours for me.
Yeah.
I'm
Maybe.
not a fast walker.
No, and I am, and especially if it's long distances, I can actually speed it up a little bit.
Interesting. That'll be a fun thing.
I'll keep the podcast updated when the seasons change.
I mean-
Today was like the coldest day of the winter, I think,
Yeah.
that we're going to have ahead of us.
Yeah.
Looking at the next few weeks, it seems like it snow, but it's going to warm up to just around freezing instead of like -10 with the wind chill.
There's a couple days this week that are in the teens.
Sure, but
This is upcoming week.
Wait, let me look at my my pocket computing device.
Today was bracing. Today's one of those days you walk outside and you're like, okay,
Yeah,
my lungs are immediately cold.
right. It's currently -6 degrees with the wind chill, and I felt every minus degree of that walking south as I was walking home because the wind was right in my face.
Okay, so
So,
very cold day outside.
correct.
A day that, given a choice, you'd stay inside.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Well, what about yesterday? Yesterday
Multiple
was
people today, as they were leaving Challengers in River North, said to me, "Try and stay warm."
yeah, same thing. I
I'm
read.
inside a store. You're going outside.
They mean later. They don't mean right now.
Even still, it was just like, no, you stay warm. I'm gonna be fine.
Maybe they were immediately going to cut your heating.
Maybe. That seems unkind.
Try and stay warm as you freeze to
Anyway,
death.
yesterday,
Well, yesterday was a cold and icky day out.
yeah, a bit of a snowy day in the morning. If
But you were out in the cold on your day off.
I was out for a while.
Yeah.
I wore my long underwear.
So here's what this is going to actually tie into what we were doing the last week. The last 7 days was our 7 days was. The last 7 days was our, because I'm saying, referencing multiple days, but it's one thing, so it's singular. The last 7 days was our I Love You But I've Chosen Comics 25% off
I would go ahead and say the last week was our,
sale.
because week is singular then, so it feels
Okay.
less clunky.
That's fine.
The last week was our.
The last week were our... anyway,
Boy,
it
oh
was
boy.
a sale. And the sale, as everyone who listens to this podcast knows, was 25% off everything in the store except things marked new this week. Of course, Wednesday was the day that resets. So last week's new this week are no longer new.
Correct.
And this week's new this week are.
Yeah, you had 2 days of the previous week's stuff.
River
being
North
discounted.
is really easy to do the sale because it's everything in the store except these 3 shelves and the things you have on hold.
right, and
That's it.
C2E2 tickets.
Yeah. One person asked pre-sale about the C2E tickets. Nobody else the whole rest of the week.
In Bucktown, I had a couple people call asking about if C2E2 tickets were going to be on sale, and I said, absolutely not.
Well, they're on sale. There's not.
Well, you know what I meant.
I know.
And they know what I meant, and I know what they meant.
So, we expect more foot traffic.
Yeah, that's why you do a sale, right?
Right. And we got more foot traffic. I didn't bother adding up because I'm pretty sure we didn't touch last year.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it.
No, it did fine.
Sure.
You always wanted to do better.
Yeah.
We had, I did the shirt calculations today.
Uh-huh.
Let me rephrase that. Gina did the shirt calculations today and gave them to me.
Uh-huh.
Gina, who did it 5 times because she wanted to make absolutely sure.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. And then immediately I added up wrong. I'm like, wait a minute.
Hold on.
Because I just wanted to do a quick double check.
Sure.
So, our shirt total,
Mhm.
I was able to pull out, we have the records since we started doing the shirts designed by other people back in 2013.
Okay.
The first couple years were designed by you.
True, yeah, because it was cheaper.
Yeah, and then we started designing, we had other people starting in 2013, so this was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, the 8th shirt, so it's the 8th year we still have
Golly.
the records, and the number of shirts that were earned this year at the sale was right in the middle.
Okay.
We've done worse, we've done better.
Sure.
It's not a high number,
No, it didn't feel
but
like
it's
it.
not the worst number.
Sure.
Did you like my optimism in making 4 pages of shirt totals for Bucktown when we've never even gone through 3 before? Yeah. We didn't even get to the 3rd page.
How many did you make for River North? I think you made like 3. It was a lot of pages.
I mean,
I thought Patrick.
That was a printing mistake.
Patrick.
No, we needed
3 pages.
We needed like 2/3 of the page. Yeah. We actually had somebody earn the shirt and then say, "I don't want it. I don't like that design."
Wow. Okay.
Well, that's fine.
Sure.
That's a prerogative. Opinions are fine.
Sure.
Yeah. We also had a friend from Sao Paulo, Brazil, see a post on the Instagram and say, "What do I need to do to get one of those shirts?"
Spend $100 American after discount before tax.
There you go. So the shirts are ordered.
Somebody asked today, not today, they asked yesterday on Wednesday, or 2 days ago on Wednesday. What day is it? And
Don't even know.
They asked, because it was pointed out that the red shirt is for sales in Bucktown, and the blue shirt you have to spend the equivalent amount in River North.
Yeah.
They asked about a black design, and I said, well, it's only if we do an unlimited print, and we've only done that one time. I don't know if there's enough interest for us to do a black design for this one. And both people who qualified for a shirt said, I would absolutely buy one.
I mean, I bet you we would have better luck with these shirts every year if we just did black.
Oh, I don't want to do that, though.
I know. But I think it would do better for us.
Oh, not interested.
I'm not.
I hear what you're saying.
You expressed that.
Yes.
You don't need to keep repeating it. I'm not trying to change your mind.
Sure. I'm just
pointing something out.
I want the listeners to know that it's not
vehemently overrule.
No, it's not that I don't want it to sound like I don't understand where you're coming from or I disagree with that analysis so much as I don't care.
Yeah. I think the listeners know that.
Okay, good.
You can change the subject around. And anyway, that knocked me off of whatever we were doing.
Sorry. You totaled up the shirts.
So that got sent in. But the moral of the story is today, Friday, Valentine's Day, the day after the sale, the first day in the last 8 days where things weren't on sale, our Friday was really great.
That's cool.
And you did a real solid, blue Thursday.
Solid for blue so far. It's always a little perplexing because I mean, we had so many instances, you and I both, at both stores, where we would tell people about the sale because they would come up to the counter and they would have no idea there's a sale. And you'd mention that there's a sale, and the sale is on nearly everything in the store. I mean, especially in River North, but also in Bucktown. Like all of the books on the red bookshelves, all of the comics on the wall, all the action figures, all the comic supplies, literally everything inside Sidekicks, 25% off. It's our only store-wide sale of the year. For the next 11 plus months, we will not have a store-wide sale. And they're just like, okay. And they don't get anything else. They don't care about anything else. They don't even want to look around. So it's not totally surprising to me that the next day we would maybe do better because we're not giving 25% to people who don't care.
Yeah, that's true.
Who then do not buy anything extra, who are not making special trips. They just happen to be in during the sale, and they don't care.
And I'll be honest, there was a significant amount of Valentine's presents purchased today.
Wow.
More than I've ever noticed.
Did people realize that Valentine's Day was today? Not a week from now?
I think people... Wait, what?
I mean, if you're buying it on Valentine's Day, I feel like you've kind of made some poor choices. Like, you should be doing these things slightly in advance.
Disagree. Buying comics is the perfect choice for any holiday or occasion.
Buying comics, yes. Maybe buy those comics the week before.
Yeah.
Like, you're shopping for a holiday. If it's ever on the day of the holiday, you have miscalculated.
Somebody called and asked for a book that I'd never even heard of, and it had a very fanciful romantic title. I'm like, we don't have that. So I looked it up, and their website says, "Hey, our book is available at Amazon and Barnes and Noble."
Sure.
Like I've never even heard of it, but it's like that is 100% a Valentine's gift.
Sure.
It's the October 31st. Do you have a Superman T-shirt? Call.
Yep.
But yeah, the disheartening thing during the sale was the number of people that had no idea there was a sale. and we had window banners and flyers, and
Emails.
we interviewed people about it from 1979.
Which was
And
tough to do. I mean, the science of that was... I don't want to say it was wasteful to use it only on the sale, but you would think using it only on the sale would make a lot of people pay attention to it.
I also invested in some stocks.
Oh, okay.
They all failed.
Yeah, boy, I feel like the time to really invest in like print media and stuff, Patrick.
I mean,
you shouldn't have saved them to 2020. That's a huge
they
mistake.
Call it Blockbuster,
Total
so how could it
miscalculation.
fail? Blockbuster Video.
Blockbuster Video, Tower Records.
Man.
Yeah, the Chicago Tribune, all of that stuff.
Radio Shack.
Buggy Whips.
I invested heavily in the TRS-80. So when people would like bring up, like I told you the story already.
Sure.
I had a guy brought up all 7 Scott Pilgrim hardcovers, and I said, I'm like, oh man, way to take advantage of the sale. What sale?
Yeah.
Nah, it's like I just lost 25% of this.
Yeah, for nothing.
I mean, I didn't. It was a sale, but
it's somebody who would have paid full price. Like,
Yeah.
it's one thing if someone comes in for a sale and it's like, I'm going to get a bunch of stuff because it's on sale. Great. I totally understand that mentality. But it's just like, oh, I got 25% off? Okay, thanks. Like, you're not buying anything more. You're not going to come in more often. You didn't make a special trip for this. This is just like, I might as well have just given you $20 out of my pocket.
it's so great not to have to say at the end of a transaction, well, the sale goes for X number more days, so if you think anything else you need, come on back. It's still on sale.
February 14th is the best.
Yeah, it really is.
There's no telling people about the sale. There's no explaining the sale. There's no promoting the sale. There's no giving a flyer. It's just like, nope, that's done now.
My next comic shop holiday, March 2nd.
Yeah, right?
No more C2E2 tickets.
Yeah. There's a few of those, and then obviously the day after Free Comic Book Day,
Yeah.
when you don't have to hand out things and tell people, and you can take down the banners, and you can do all that stuff.
Taking down the banners today was...
And yesterday.
Yesterday's easy, because you're welcome. I mean, on the one hand, I didn't want to take away a task for you to make you be like, I got nothing else to do.
Oh, Patrick, I can always find something to do or watch.
But at the same time, I just thought, why not? Yeah. Taking down the banners in Bucktown was so difficult because I'm trying to get all the tape off.
Sure.
And I want to do as much of it as I can without having to use a ladder. Doesn't matter. But there's so much old tape on those windows, and it's so cold right now that it just chips off.
Yeah, nothing comes off easy. There's no flexibility to that tape.
And then it was a whole bunch of like, what, I can't think of the phrase, when you, trial and error of getting which window shade fits in which
Sure.
brackets.
Because they're not all the same width.
Speaking of windows and brackets, did you see a new...
It wasn't changed when I got to the store this morning.
Oh.
So unless they surreptitiously did it during the day while I was at the store, but without me seeing it, I'm going to say it didn't get changed.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah. No, I looked at it this morning on my way in, and I saw them black zip ties.
Gotcha. We're talking about the banner in River North. It got put up, but there was an issue with the
bottom bracket.
The previous tenant must have changed, or the previous bracket user moved it, so the banner we had printed was now too short.
Yeah, the measurement that we were given by the building was accurate, except the previous tenant moved the lower bracket, so now the measurement was inaccurate. So now we have to get the installer to come back out, like move the bracket back up so it fits the banner. Currently it's just zip tied from the bottom of the banner to the bracket itself, but that's not a viable long-term solution for a lot of reasons.
It looks fine, and if that's all we had, great. But the fact that we can change it...
I mean, not great, because like, I worry about a windy day. Like, that's not how that's supposed to be on there.
I'm not worried about it coming off.
I'm not worried about it coming off for a week or two, but like long-term, a little worried, yeah.
So, in summation, the sale did okay. Thank you for everybody who came and took advantage of it.
Thanks, everybody.
Who knew about it ahead of time. Thank you for paying attention to that. Oh, man. Okay. Here's a quick little aside.
Okay.
Yesterday, since I drove, I parked at the lot next to Lago.
Okay.
So I walked past Lago to get to Challengers.
Sure.
And as I did, I took a photo of Lago, and I posted just on Facebook like, you've picked the right spot for your second store when you get to pass by this Chicago treasure every day.
Uh-huh.
So I got a lot of activity on that particular post. People talking about Lago, people how much they love it, how they haven't been there for a while, etc., etc.
That's great.
And then a handful of, you have a second store? Oh, congratulations.
First time you mentioned it.
Ah, right?
Should have told
And not
people.
only that, buried in the text of a photo of a restaurant, not, what is the header of my page?
I feel like all of our Instagram posts should just be, like, total, like, SEO style. Like, what gets the most likes and interests on Instagram, and then just make the text, like, a signing or a book that's coming out or whatever. Like,
what does SEO stand for?
Search engine optimization.
Okay.
It's like the stupid keyword style stuff that you can put in your website to make sure that it pops to the top.
Yep.
There's got to be like a version of Instagram where you can game the system like that. So like the photos will all be like tropical sunsets and beautifully designed salads. And somebody sent me something today about like the big thing is like pancakes on boards instead of on plates. So it looks very rustic.
What stops the syrup from going all over the place?
It feels like something you can only take a picture of, not something you could actually eat on. Because like the pictures are like this elaborate like S shape of pancakes curled around, and then around it in the edges are like a little pile of berries and like a sliced up banana, and like all the different toppings are just these little piles, and it's like you could never eat on that ever. Plates, they exist for a reason. But anyway, stuff like that, and then the text would just be like, Kelly Williams signing at 2 stores. Like,
yeah, okay.
What's it to the pancakes? I don't know, but people looked at it.
Here's what we're going to do.
Okay.
Since we don't have anything pressing for the store the next week, you and I each have to find and come up with 2 separate Instagram posts where the picture is...
Like just total Instagram bait?
Well, yeah, like as far away from the text of the image as possible. But also it can't just be like, it can't be things...
It's got to be a good
targeted
picture.
to us. Like, I can't just post a picture of Greg Davies from Taskmaster, and you can't just post a Common Rider thing. It has to be something like
it's got to be
neither of our interests.
It's got to be Instagram bait. It's got to be like gorgeous person or...
Hold on, I said neither of our interests.
Or gorgeous food.
Yeah.
Or like a artsy landscape or whatever. It's stuff like that.
I mean, my first...
Yeah, I'm into this.
My first instinct was just, when you're talking about Instagram bait, I'm like, you mean Lexi Bell?
I mean, basically. Like, obviously, like, there's a lot of people who have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Instagram followers, and they're usually gorgeous people who are taking pictures of themselves basically just anywhere in the world. Just being gorgeous. There is a weirdly high number of, like, gorgeous person in front of, like, food they would literally never eat or they would not look that gorgeous. Like, gorgeous girl in front of, like, a giant hamburger or something. And it's like, she's not eating that. I know that. Why? Why the giant hamburger?
It's like Margot Robbie talking about, she used to be a sandwich artist at Subway. And she really took pride in what she did. And she made a point of moving, like, everything spread out to cover the full length and width of the bread.
Sure, that's important.
And the sauces were spread evenly through.
Some of my least favorite Subway sandwiches are when they will, like, they do 4 pieces of meat and they fold them in half. And if you do them equidistant, the whole sandwich is good. If you move one too far to the edge or whatever, they start to bunch up. And then you're eating too much meat in that part of the sandwich.
And she said that she rarely goes to Subway anymore because nobody makes the sandwiches right and they don't take pride in it. And they're all just, like, lumped in the middle and everything just blurted on. And Gina heard that and Gina said, she doesn't eat at Subway.
Yeah, I mean, bread? Come on.
But it's just like, they're like, I can't eat at Subway because they don't take pride in their...
They don't respect
They're
the
not
art.
sandwich artisans. They're just sandwich makers.
I would like that if that were true. But, I mean, yeah, in general, a lot of these sort of,
I spread my condiments all the way around the 4 corners of the bread. And when I'm laying my cold cuts in, I try to cover the... You know, I don't do those hacks where you cut the circular lunch meat in half and do it to the edge. You know, you cut it in half and then fold it out so it's straight line to the edge, straight line to the edge, left in the middle.
Oh, I'd never heard of that.
Oh yeah, that's a lunch hack.
Oh, it's interesting.
Yep.
I don't know that it would improve the sandwich for me, but I guess I can see the
cover is different.
The logic behind it,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, God knows, like, when I'm at Chipotle and I see them preparing the quesadilla, there's a lot of times I want to be very specific about how much of a scoop of chicken should be on there and how much cheese, but I try to step back a bit and not get too involved in the process.
I think we've talked about this before, but Irish comedian Dar O'Brien was on a food podcast I listened to with James Acaster and Ed Gamble. I don't remember the name of the podcast though, but he was talking about the best burrito he ever had was at an airport in Germany.
Okay.
Because after they laid in all the ingredients, when they lifted it up and they shimmied it, they shook it around.
Sure.
So everything
they reallocated everything.
Yes. It wasn't just like, oh, rice here, guacamole here, beans here, meat here.
It is important.
Yeah. And I've literally in my life, and I've eaten a lot of burritos, never seen anybody prepare a burrito where they
and honestly
mix up the ingredients.
When I watch Chipotle prepare them, because it's the only place I go to that makes burritos, most of them have so much stuff in them that just getting the burrito closed is a trial. There is no room within that burrito for any ingredient to move around. They are all wedged in there. I hope this is a really good comics industry business podcast for people this week.
On the Egg Channel Podcast Network? Hey, we talked about business. We talked about the business sales.
In the middle of a lot of weird other talk about commuting and food and Instagram.
So going back to Instagram, because I said it has to be as far away from our interests as possible.
Sure.
My niece Julia is studying abroad right now. She's in college and she's in Spain.
Okay.
And
that's pretty abroad.
I have access to a lot of pictures of her there, and I thought, like, oh, what about Julia at a landmark as a picture? But am I disqualified because she's my niece?
Yes.
Okay. But if it was a complete stranger at the same landmark, that'd be fine? I like that I'm asking you for the rules for the thing that I just said we have to do.
Sure. So it's tricky because I don't know that I love the idea of just randomly finding an image somewhere online.
Okay.
Like, I think it needs to be a picture you take with your camera.
Oh, I don't know if I was going to go that far.
I mean, I
already had some ideas of how I was going to get some pictures.
No, but then
but
looking at your Lago thing, like, that's what it was. You passed by Lago and you took a photo. That's not the photo that you would normally take for the Challenger's account. It would be something in the store or whatever. It probably would. I mean, you said the Common Writer stuff, so whatever. But the thought was that we would do something kind of aping the Instagram aesthetic and seeing if just plugging in random nonsense store related would actually get more coverage.
Yeah.
If we just abandoned any pretense of taking pictures in the store of comics and just made it whatever, like literally just like, here's the burger I got. Look at this great burger, and then like 84 likes. Why? Why did 84 people who follow us on Instagram for comic stuff like that picture of my hamburger?
This week's Instagram posts about the last 2 days of the sale had really anemic likes.
Sure.
But for each one, I also did a story for. And the story got like 8 times as many views as the Instagram posts got likes.
Do you think that's just because people do more story watching?
I do, but also there's a difference between seeing the sale post and clicking like on it. So like views don't equal likes.
Sure.
It's a very distinct.
Got it.
Anyway, all right, we'll figure that out. And like you don't need just by next week's podcast, we will each have had to post at least 2 of them.
Okay.
I mean, it could be immediately after this. It could be later, but I mean, it'd be hard pressed to do something from the studio.
Yeah, I can't imagine. But
wait, hold on. Do you want to add a wrinkle to it?
What's that?
One of them has to be a picture that's already on your camera roll.
Okay. That's fine. that has not been posted on the internet.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. I want to make that clear for the people listening. This can't be something that like you've already put on Facebook or Twitter or whatever.
Or something you've taken from the internet and saved to your camera roll.
Right. It's got to be a picture you took that you already have. That's fine.
Okay.
I'm sure I can find something. I'm just more excited about the idea of what is the most like incongruent thing I could post text-wise underneath these bizarre photos that are just like total boilerplate, like lots of great comics coming out this week. We've got, the new Wonder Woman Dead Earth #2, and like the picture above that is like a skyline or something. What?
Do you want to turn this into a contest?
No, not really.
Okay.
I don't want to make it like it's already dumb enough as it is. I don't want to put any pressure on it.
That's fair.
It's just goofing around for a week.
All right.
It's
nice.
Honestly, this goes back to the I don't care if we would move more shirts if they were black instead of red or blue. It's one of those things that it's a small pleasure you can have by owning a business of not having to justify this stuff, of just being like, you know what, I feel this way. That's the way we're going to do it. Like, I don't care if it's like, I don't care if this loses Instagram followers or if people are like, I don't follow these guys for this. It makes us happy, and like, shit, occasionally that has value.
Don't we deserve that?
Like, occasionally that's all the justification I need for us to do things with the business is just, this could be fun. Like, sometimes quality things come from that. There have been things that we do, like, continuously in our business. I can't think of them right now, but that probably started the signing wall. The signing wall at both stores now was a thing where it was just like a dumb thing that we said, and it's like, no, let's do that. That could be fun, having people do little sketches on the wall. And now it's like a Challenger's thing. So much so that we weren't planning on doing it at River North.
In River North
Uh-huh.
and said, "Oh, I see you got the signing wall started." I'm like, "Yeah, it's it's going to be a different type of thing than the other one, but it's still going to be there." And he said, "Yeah, I remember when you first started doing the signing wall in the other store, and I was in there and I asked the guy if I could sign the wall, and he said no."
What guy? Probably you, Patrick.
He was telling me that story.
So
I mean,
you don't look like you did back then. Maybe he thinks you're a different guy.
Maybe.
Yeah, the guy back then, he didn't have a beard at all. Yes, who could that have been?
I just assumed it was you.
I mean, maybe. I've said no to people before.
He's like,
Probably say it again.
he said no, and there was enough of a pause, like he thought I was going to say, "Do you want to sign it now?" I am not.
No.
You
would have said no, too?
We are very, like...
Early days, we weren't that choosy, for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say we're very proprietary about the wall in blue now.
No, I'll say choosy.
But when it comes down to it, if we have somebody like, say, Power Rangers guy, who's there and says, "Oh, can I draw on the wall?" I wonder if I'll break. Just be like, "No, it's okay."
Yeah, I mean, somebody like that, I'd probably say okay too.
Okay.
Like if we have someone there as a guest and they ever want to do it, it's like, I don't know. Sure.
Well, I mean, there's a difference between an invited guest and an uninvited guest.
I guess anyone that we agree to have in the space, like I think I'm kind of okay with it.
Okay.
I mean, I'd maybe say, like, maybe before that, try and make a new signing template.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be like, look, DWJ and Ryan Brown are people that we're personally friends with, and so they get a little bit more leeway. But if you're just, someone from out of town who's promoting your work, like, I don't want you drawing, a gigantic 8-inch by 8-inch
Misty Nighthead
thing. Yeah, like, because the space, especially that in
Gladiator face,
is so limited.
Yeah,
it's so limited.
Yep.
We do not have a lot of space. So we have to be a little bit more protective of how much wall space there is and kind of what people do with it. And yeah, I mean, it sucks sometimes to tell someone who really wants to participate, like, you are not good enough, but it's like, the line has to be somewhere. I'm sorry about that. I wish that wall space were limited and everyone could participate, but no.
The line must be drawn here. This far, no further. I also completely lost that accent and I didn't have it to begin with, but at least you knew what I was doing.
I mean, it's a famous enough line that everyone knows.
You picked it up?
That you're doing Indiana Jones. But anyway, go on.
So, since this is a comics industry business podcast on the Yak Channel Podcast Network here in Chicago, like you had said just before...
I did. I'm part of it, yeah.
We can talk about business things, and we've been talking recently on multiple episodes about the computer issues we're having with our distributors' software.
Yeah.
And we found a new one today there was a club member who had gotten the weekly email of what's coming out next week, and mentioned that there was a book that they wanted, that they were down for, that they didn't see it on the list, and it was Archie and Katie Keene.
Yeah, and they'd specifically requested to have that title added to their list a while back.
And when they requested it be added, it was added.
Yeah.
Because when Archie announced Archie and Katie Keene, it was a full-page listing and previews, Archie and Katie Keene #1. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh, damn, the renumbering. They just started was it 700 they started over?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, with the Mark Waid and Fiona Staples Archie.
No, I mean they did like 30
with
something issues
with a new
of that.
#1. I'm saying they did a new #1 for Mark Waid and Fiona Staples. They did 30 some odd issues. Then they went back to legacy numbering at 700.
Right.
When Nick Spencer came on.
Right.
And they did a 4-part or 5-part Archie and Sabrina miniseries within the series kind of thing. Like, that's the storyline.
Yeah.
So it would say, like, Archie...
And Sabrina #1 of 6, but it was Archie number 715 or whatever.
I'm going to say it was Archie 705.
Okay.
Because this Archie and Katie Keene #1 was actually Archie number 710.
Oops.
Or 711. Shit, now I can't remember.
Whatever.
Anyway, so they immediately kept them. They immediately is the wrong word. They were never starting over from #1, but they never told us that, and they made it seem like that. And they also had a title in the system called Archie and Katie Keene.
Yeah, Diamond apparently had a bit of a miscommunication where they had put a title in there, but that title wasn't keyed to a series. So you could add a title, but
you're just never going to get it.
The series was already under a different title. Like, Archie was the thing that was still having subscriptions filled for it. Archie and Katie Keene was like a phantom title.
So if it wasn't for this club member seeing that Archie and Katie Keene was in the master list of everything coming out for the week and noticing, hey, it's not on my polls, and emailing to say, hey, I thought I was down for this, we found out, yes, you were absolutely down for it, only what you were down for doesn't exist.
Yep.
And without that email, we would never have caught it.
Right.
Never.
Nope.
It makes me wonder if he got the previous issues.
I guess you can check tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe.
Or if he just started getting it now. I'm not sure.
Don't know.
But, I mean, I feel really bad because...
It makes us look like we don't know what we're doing.
Exactly. That's a club member who has to do our job for us.
He's like, hey, I thought I asked for this. And you did, and we pulled it, or we put it on your list, but that didn't do anything because our distributor made putting it on your list not mean anything for that title.
So I emailed to explain it, but I just want to say thank you again, Chris, for catching it. And
sorry.
We're sorry that we are bad at our jobs because of our distributors.
Yeah, and I mean
software.
that's a bunch of things that we found out with the emails today. There was a weird thing where characters got introduced into the formatting, but not into like the visible formatting, so it could break tagging, like the little HTML markup stuff that makes things bold or italicized. If you drop a character into that tagging, it breaks the tagging. So somebody got an email where the entire second half of the email had strike through every single word. Somebody else had it for just like a sentence. Other people had things where, once again, they had like duplicates for some special orders that had to be taken out. So yeah, all that stuff where it's just like, and
none of it is our fault.
No, but you can't explain that to anyone, and on top of that, it shouldn't matter to them. Like, it doesn't...
Right.
Like, if
who cares whose fault it is? You're not getting the book you want, or you're worried about getting too many double things pulled.
This is a customer had to do extra work to, balance their subscriptions, and we're the interface for that, so that it becomes our fault. And unfortunately, with a lot of this stuff, we don't know it until they get their emails, and then it's like, oh, I see it now, but I can't vet each email before it goes out. There's too many of them.
Yeah, and a lot of it is automated.
Yeah.
So when people would say, if you would send out an email to everyone gets X-Men and says, hey, you get X-Men, do you want Wolverine #1 or whatever?
Right.
When people just respond, yeah, great, thanks, I'll take it, without putting their name, and if their email is too confusing for us, like if it's just a bunch of random characters, which we've got some subscribers with those kind of emails.
True.
We have to be like, hey, who is this?
Yes, you can have it on your list. What list is that?
Because it's like I always said about saying, hey guys, in an email, we're sending it out to everybody, but they're only getting theirs. So they don't know that it's an automated thing sent to everybody who gets X-Men. It says in the email.
Right, but they're one person having a conversation with us. We are having a conversation with hundreds of people.
Yeah. Today was a day where it was a decent response to the weekly email.
Okay.
But they just like I would do one comes in. I would do one comes in. And here's a situation. One of the ones you took care of last night for the Immortal Hulk one shot, the Threshing Place one shot.
Yeah.
I went in to double check, and it wasn't on their list. So I go to add it, and the system's like, no, they're down for this already. Do you want to change the quantity? But I don't see it listed in their polls.
Weird. I might not have posted special orders. I don't remember.
You had.
Okay. Then I don't know. I definitely did it.
Yeah, because there was somebody else. I'm like, well, let me see if this person has it. And they did.
Okay. Weird.
Yeah. Didn't get it at all.
Weird.
So, ultimately, what would it take for you to say, hey, let's look into Comic Hub again?
I mean, I guess we can already have that conversation if you really wanted to. What would it take for me? Not much.
Okay. I feel like it's a level of frustration and growing problems with Diamond that would make us be like, forget it.
So it's a couple things. It's mostly two different conversations that we'd have to have and then deciding if we'd want to move forward. Mm-hmm. One is a conversation with Diamond about just kind of where Comic Suite is at. There's a lot of things that were kind of promised with Comic Suite, specifically Pullbox, that does not seem to be anywhere on the roadmap as far as like how Comic Suite and like
there are a lot of people beta testing it.
Right, but a lot
Stores
of people
have chatter about that.
But a lot of the people who are beta testing it do not use Comic Suite. Like we were specifically told that they were not at a point where they were taking beta test users for Comic Suite because that part of it didn't work. Now that was a while ago. Maybe they've moved on and they're using other people. You know, just because we're not beta testing it doesn't mean that it's not in beta test. But at the time, it was frustrating to me to find out that a huge new part of the way Diamond is allowing comic shops to better solicit orders from their subscribers was not available to stores using Diamond's proprietary subscription management software. I just found that galling. Like it felt like a slap in the face of like, we've been using your system for years. And now this thing does not work for us. It works for everyone but us. Like, I thought that was so frustrating. So the fact that Comic Hub has a solution for that working right now with every single Comic Hub account is a huge mark in its favor. Like, if Diamond still doesn't have, you know, a date of when we can start using that functionality, then yeah, that would be a thing that would make me think, okay, I don't know if this is ever going to happen. I gave them so much time, and they're still no closer to doing it. And then also kind of talking to Stu about Comic Hub to feel like, where is this program at now? You know, what is...
We can do that next weekend at Comics Pro.
Oh, no.
Well, hopefully we can have the Diamond conversation at C2E2.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least we can have that. And then, you know, maybe post C2E2 have a better idea of if it's something we wanted to try out and move on with. Yeah, it's...
I want to make it clear. I'm not advocating for or against the change.
I know.
I'm just saying that when you think the time is right, let's go.
Yeah, certainly the last few months have made me less inclined to stick with Diamond just because we've been with Diamond. RMH was something... 2009? Yeah. RMH was something that we had taken a long time to finally get, and we got it for River North, and it's not that great. It's got I don't think it's as bad as everybody has said it is compared to RMS, but it is in a lot of ways a step down. A lot of the ways that it's doing things are different and not better. There's like kind of core functionality things where it's like, I can't believe you would get rid of this function. Why would you do that? that make things take a little longer. I don't really love the way the register looks.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for me to look at that screen and see the things I want to see. Certainly using...
Maybe if you change the color back to white, right?
No. The other thing is having to use both registers for the duration of the sale. There's a bunch of ways that, like, you can manipulate the transaction in RMS that are so much more difficult in RMH that you almost have to go in item by item to do these things,
Yeah.
and that means using both the mouse and the keyboard, and it's just...
There are so many different ways to do discounts in RMH that it's confusing.
Yeah, there's too many, and they don't... It's harder to get them at your fingertips.
Yeah.
You have to drill down a little farther, and that just makes it take longer and feel more frustrating. So, yeah, I would not be against demoing Comic Hub again to see what it's like. I would be a little reluctant to do a wide rollout like we were trying last time, so much as I would maybe just do River North.
Okay.
And see how that goes, because moving back and forth on that, a lot easier. Like, that's a smaller subset of people that we would have to worry about subscription-wise.
Yeah.
The reorders are not as big. The initial orders are not as big. We don't do as many reorders. There's not as many transactions. So, like, I think that would be a little bit easier of, like, a beta test to do it there. And if we like how that's working, then we would have a familiarity with it, you and I. So we would feel more comfortable rolling out to Bucktown, you know, instead of just doing it in both stores and being like, okay, I don't know how to do any of this yet. You know, there's less margin of error in Bucktown than there would be for River North, I feel.
Well, I have a feeling that I'll be talking about that on Monday, on my call on Monday.
Oh, yeah?
So I think that I mean, I don't know for a fact that might be cross purposes or...
Because that's not his job anymore?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that it isn't. I think it still is. It's just that it would be like... I can't think of what a thing it would be like where if we went on... I don't know, if we were promoting Challengers whilst we were working at somebody's booth.
Sure, okay.
You know?
Like if we were at the Oni booth and people came up to us and they were like, hey, you know, can you check and see if you guys have a copy of the Batman Tom King Volume 1 at your store? Like, not right now. I'm working for Oni. Yeah. This is inappropriate.
Or I think that if they said, like, do you guys have Kaiju Max Volume 1? I'm like, well, we have it at our stores. Mm-hmm. You can get it there.
Sure. As
opposed to buying it right here off the table, that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm not... I don't even know. I'm just talking. I am just talking. What I'm talking about now, though, is how great this next week of comics is.
How do you know? What if they're all terrible?
They're not, though. I've read some of them. They're real good.
Which one did you read?
I read Bang.
Bang's real good.
I also read Decorum.
Decorum's real good.
It's not coming out this week, though.
No, but it's real good.
I don't know if I'd say real good.
I would say real good.
I think reading it, the format I did read it in, I didn't...
Digimally?
Yeah, I didn't. It doesn't do this story service.
Oh, okay.
And I also don't know that I understand the stuff happening in the early pages.
There's a first half that's doing one thing and a second half that's doing another thing, and the second half is very, very fun, and the first half is really weird.
Yes, really weird, and I don't know what it means.
But I'm okay with that, because I feel like I will know down the line.
And here's pages from the next issue. Again, super weird. Like, just a whole bunch of space planet pictures.
Yep.
There's a bunch of planets.
Ties into the first half, though.
And I'm sure that there's a sequence or a code or something that I'm never going to read it close enough to find out.
Maybe.
But I did enjoy the second half of Decorum very much. But anyway, Decorum's not next week. There's the new Lucy Knisley book.
Yes.
There is Bang. I mean, come on.
Bang's real good. I enjoyed it. Wolverine. The Wolverine #1.
We had multiple... Oh, Dr. Tomorrow, like Valiant's first all-ages book.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, Bloodshot's all ages. Wait, no.
Whoops. We had two different club members in Red today add the Man or Black trade.
Yeah, probably don't have enough now. Probably.
I mean, obviously we need to get some more.
Obviously.
Both of them just said, can you add Man or Black?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to, like, I'm not going to email you back and say, do you mean the next volume of the single issues or the trade paperback? Like, just that's what's on this. You're responding to this email That's where it is. I'm assuming it's that. Also, they haven't announced a return to it.
No.
Like, they haven't announced any more Damned.
All those people who worked on Man in Black are booked doing other things.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to take a minute to come back and do Man in Black.
So we'll wait and see. Although I don't know what Brian Hurt's doing. Maybe Table Titans? I don't know.
That doesn't come out that often.
All right. Colin Bunn had a post that he said, I have a huge announcement tomorrow. Something I've never done before. Can you guess what it is? And I said, your first ever signing at Challengers Blue.
Ooh. I would have said growing a beard.
Oh, interesting.
Can you imagine Colin Bunn with a beard?
What kind of beard? Like a normal beard? A beard like mine?
Well, I mean, it would have to start with a normal beard.
Okay.
And then it would essentially grow into a beard like yours at some
Just
point.
a beard?
But can you imagine that baby face with a beard on it? Can you imagine that? It's so strange. Can't get out of my head now.
I'm just excited for...
Can we make a cardboard beard that we can bring to C2E2 and put on Colin Bunn's face just to see what it will look like?
I think felt is the better way, but sure.
Cardboard just seems easier for us to get a hold of.
Yeah.
Can you have one of your arts and crafts associates who occasionally helps out at the store?
I believe they are our
to
arts and craft associates.
To do a felt beard? Or
you said cardboard.
I know, but now that we're including other people, a knit beard maybe?
Okay.
Could they knit a short beard for Colin
For this
Bunn?
cardboard beard, do you want it to wrap around?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah, not like I hold it up in front of him and I get to see it.
Okay, that's what
I need it to sculpt around a face.
Sure.
That's why maybe cardboard. You're right. Maybe it's not right.
Something with
felt though.
It's like the little elastic hook around the ears.
No, I mean we'll probably bring some tape or a stapler or something, and then
packing tape, duct tape, or a staple gun.
Sure.
One of them.
Sure.
It'll fit on it.
Yeah, I feel like it would look so weird.
The first collection of the ongoing Battle Pug series is out next week.
Yeah.
And because the list isn't right in front of me, but I know there's a ton more stuff. I just felt like it was almost mean. It's such a good week. It's mean to people that spend a ton of money during the sale. To be like, hey, now here's all this stuff.
Here's some more things for you to buy.
But this is, I was talking to Mitchell Davies from All Star Comics in Melbourne, Australia, who, by the way, happy anniversary to them because they have separate anniversaries. They have their anniversary of when they first opened, and then the anniversary when they expanded, and it's within a couple-week period. Mm-hmm. And now they're also at the same time, the store is undergoing some other changes, so it's like a third anniversary in the same window of between the first two. Yeah. But I was talking about how it's such a good week.
Plunge #1, by the way.
Oh, Plunge, yes. Oh my God, Plunge. God, the book's so good.
Not to get you off track, but Plunge #1 is the one you meant to talk about.
That it's going to be so hard. Like, it's going to be sad for me when everyone doesn't buy Plunge and Bang.
And Bang. Wow, they're not buying both of them.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
what a disaster.
You need to buy both of them. There was, and there's a bunch of other stuff coming out, and again, this is in front of me. So
I'm getting a $40 Death's Head trade.
Yeah.
Full of like original UK Death's Head
Marvel
stuff.
UK. Yeah.
When I saw it in the email, or I guess maybe when I saw it on the invoice at first, it's just called Death's Head Peacekeeping Agent, freelance Peacekeeping Agent, and in my brain I hadn't realized that the 4-issue Death's Head miniseries was already collected, the recently released Marvel one.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I'm like, oh, it's that new Death's Head thing. That
the Teeny one?
The Teeny Howard.
Teeny Howard? Sorry.
I'm like, oh, that's fine. I don't need that. And then when I saw it on the email, I'm like, why was I down for that? $40. Oh, it's the original stuff. Oh, okay.
Here's a funny story about a book Dal was down for that came out this week.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Justice League Corporate Maneuvers.
Yeah, got it right here.
And it is Justice League International or Justice League...
Justice League Quarterly.
Justice League
That's
Quarterly.
why it's so weird. It
Okay.
collects Justice League Quarterly number 1 through 4.
And at the point that it showed up on his pulls list, Dal's thought was, why is this on here?
Yeah, this seems like a mistake.
And he forgot that when it was ordered, DC has had a rash of trade paperback cancellations, like collections where they would solicit and then either think like, no, we need to better serve this material in a different format, or hey, the orders just aren't there, we're not going to print this. And when Dal saw this, he said, I can't believe they're printing this. who's the market for this? There is no way this is going to get made.
I mean,
quote,
the cover art is the conglomerate. Who remembers the conglomerate?
Quote, I'll call their bluff.
Yep.
So you ordered it.
Months later,
It showed up.
I'm like, why would I do this? And you had to remind me of that story.
I'll call their bluff.
There's decent stuff in here, though. I'm looking over some of the credits on this. Pencils by Jason Pearson, pencils by Derek Robertson, a bunch of Marshall Rogers stories. Chris Sprouse.
Yeah. All good stuff.
Mike McCone. Not all good stuff. Tom Artis has a story in here.
All right.
But, I mean, a lot of Giffen and DeMatteis.
Speaking of...
Also Giffen and Shall Not Be Named. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of Keith Giffen, what did you find out about today, Dal?
Oh, man. So, once again...
Everyone, are you sitting down?
When I saw this, I don't know that I did a literal double take, but I think my eyes moistened a little bit. So I think my eyeballs were moving inside the sockets. There is a... I'm going to look it up. I got to make sure I get this right, because that's the thing. Like, it's so important, and it's so pivotal, and it's something that I wouldn't have even thought to wish for, because it was so out of the realm of possibility.
While Dal's looking this up, I'll just jump in with a quick related story. I found out on Monday that not only does the Night Flight Orchestra have a new album coming out, it's coming out in 2 weeks.
That's amazing.
That I didn't even know about it.
Is it also 50 songs for their 50th birthday?
It's not 50 songs. It's like 12 songs. But when I read it, there were people in the store, and I actually went...
Gasp.
Because I was excited.
Sure.
And then, yesterday, I found out that Harem Scarum, a band I love, has a new album coming out the week after.
That's amazing.
What an embarrassment of riches. And
it's been a good year.
I go to Blabbermouth multiple times a week, and I go back and make sure I've read every article.
Sure. And it's true you do, because on the right computer in River North, it is one of the slugged things.
Yeah. It's important.
And I've had a good year for comics as far as what's coming out, because
there's a new Power Pack.
There's a new Power Pack series coming out, written by Ryan North, which is kind of amazing. Like, I wouldn't have thought to pick him for it, and the fact that he's doing it is great. That Ryan Stegman cover, not very good, but still. But this, Legion of Superheroes 5 Years Later Omnibus Volume 1 hardcover. It is a collection of the Tom Mayer Beerbaum, Keith Giffen, Al Gordon series from the late 80s, early 1990s. It collects Legion of Superheroes 1 through 39, Timberwolf 1 through 5, the first 3 annuals, and an Adventures of Superman issue that they crossed over into.
I was living at my parents' house when that came out. That's how long ago that was.
It is comes out August 12th, 2020. It is $150. It is 1,424 pages. That is my all-time favorite Legion run, and maybe one of my all-time favorite runs in any comic ever. It, to my knowledge, has never been collected in any format. I have a collection of it that somebody, and I will always be grateful to them for this, got it to me as a Christmas gift, where I don't know if they commissioned it or if they found it online, but it's a bound-together collection of the first... I'm going to look at and see what issues were in here.
I want to say found, because that same person found me that bound Phantom, and if you see, it's the same exact binding as yours.
Yeah, it's 3 volumes, so it's probably, I think it's the first maybe 40 or so. It's just a red binding, but it's
a hardcover book.
Hardcover book, but the original issues, so it's all of the story pages. I don't think it's got ads and stuff in it. But this is the only way you could read these collected, because DC never collected any of that stuff into graphic novels. They would do the stuff before it, like the Paul Levitt stuff. They've done the stuff after it, like Legion Lost and the Abnett Landing stuff. And certainly all of like the New 52 and whatever Jeff Johns stuff, all the Mark Waid stuff. But this era, this specific, the 5 years later era, which is called that because it came out after the 63 issues or whatever of the Levitts, Baxter era stuff, but the story picked up 5 years later than what it had left off at. So a lot of the early stories are, why has this happened to the characters? Why is the Legion not together?
And it's the most impenetrable Legion stories ever.
Oh my god!
Because there's no costumes, there are no code names.
There's very little context for anything that you're reading, especially because a lot of it is things that you haven't seen in the stories. Like, there's wars that took place between planets where it's, like, huge and pivotal for these characters, but it had not appeared in the comics at all. So, I love it. I found it, and I like a lot of younger people who, when they find these kind of impenetrable things, it's not a barrier. It activated something in my brain where I'm like, I gotta know more about this. So I was buying all the issues, and I was piecing it all together, and I was buying older series to get filled in on who these characters were before this series.
And that was your, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was your first exposure to Legion, was the 5 years later stuff.
Yeah. I think
as a lad,
Legion of Superheroes issue 2, I think, was the first one that I ever got, and it's an Ultra Boy issue. And it's
you were
so
like
weird.
12 or 13 years old.
Yeah. I was the right age to be getting into Legion. I was, old enough to get some of, like, the subtext and understand some of the more mature storytelling in it, but still young enough to be like, this is all minutia I can learn. In the same way that a lot of fans, when they get into a fandom in those ages, like between like 12 and 16, they just kind of devour all of this information and they catalog it all in their brain. And I was definitely doing that for the Legion, where the more esoteric it got, the more interested I got in it. So DC doing any collections whatsoever, I would have expected them to maybe do like the first 10 or something in a softcover, but to go, high and mighty with a 1,400 page omnibus, $150. Like, I don't want to say I'm calling their bluff, because if I could will this thing into existence, I would do it. I don't know if they're actually going to produce it, because I can't imagine how big the market is or how many copies they'd even need to sell to make a $150, 1,400 page hardcover worth printing.
Well, we'll have one at each store, right?
This may be a thing where we have to corner someone in C2E2 and go, what is the minimum print run for this book? And if you guys are short that, you email us. And we figure this out. Like, if this doesn't happen, I have these issues in a format, but I would love for this book to exist as a real physical object produced by DC Comics. That would be kind of amazing, and something that, yeah, again, the fact that they called it Volume 1 is like, how dare you? How dare you not only do this in this way, but then suggest that there's maybe more volumes, maybe 2 or 3. Like, there's, I'm trying to remember, like, another 40-something issues, I think, not counting miniseries and other stuff. Like, Jesus, like, if I could, 3,000 pages of 5-year gap stuff. Like, if they could cram in the $29.95 role-playing game source book that the Beer Bombs put together for West End Games, that filled in a ton of information about what exactly happened that was never detailed in the book.
Is it right down there?
I don't have it anymore, I don't think. I ended up keeping it.
Oh.
Across a variety of moves.
Yeah.
I lost or gave away or threw out a bunch of role-playing game stuff, and that was probably one of them. I don't think I have it anymore. But there's a ton of stuff in there where the Beer Bombs, because they had crafted this story with Keith Giffen and Al Gordon and somebody else, they broke down, like, here's what happened in those 5 years. So there was a roadmap of who joined the team, who left the team, why did they leave,
Kelly Puckett?
who joined after them. That was way later.
Okay.
What's this? Tom McCraw, I think, was later.
Okay.
Like, that was the reboot stuff. That was the post-Zero Hour Legion stuff.
That was the Legionnaires?
Yeah, Legion and Legionnaires, which, I would love for them to collect that stuff. All the stuff that, like...
You still have that Legionnaires flowchart poster.
Yeah, it's great.
In the hallway of the studio.
Yeah, Jeff Moy and Phil Moy.
Corey...
Not Corey Cassoni.
Not Corey Cassoni, no.
Corey what?
I forget, I was just giving you the first one.
You're right with Corey. It was like WC something.
Corey Karani.
Corey Karani.
Yeah, thanks for the WC, that guy, Corey Karani.
And like, all that stuff like that, and Lee Moder and Adam Hughes did some stuff for that.
Lee Moder, yeah.
Real good stuff. Like, I'd love to see all that collected. And the Legion has so much great material that I think, because the fandom is so small, that a lot of those eras, it's just not worth DC printing. So I, really, really hope that this 5 years later omnibus actually comes out. It would mean a lot to me personally. So that would make me really happy. But if it doesn't happen, I understand why it wouldn't happen. Just the fact that they even suggested it feels like flying too close to the sun, you know?
Where did you find out about the omnibus?
Newsarama had the DC solicits for me.
Did it have a cover?
Yeah, and it's a dumb cover. They picked a stupid cover. It's a Dusty Abel. It's from like way later in the run, like when the SW6 batch shows up.
No. So SW6 is like the clone Legionnaires.
Yeah, so it's this. So the cover is all like Silver Age Legion costumes, which has nothing to do with this book.
Yeah, not at all.
No, it's 100% not what this book is. But I mean,
also, wouldn't you want a given cover to that book?
Yeah, why wouldn't you want the cover to the first issue where it's Rock Kryn walking away from his Legion ring to signify what the book is?
Trench coated.
But here's
moody shadows.
Here's why I'll allow it. I can't imagine anyone being on the fence about a $150 omnibus who will feel betrayed by this cover.
Okay.
Like, if you go in for a $150 omnibus, you should know exactly what you're buying. This should not be your first purchase for these characters in this story.
Dal, what did you just refer to those young Legionnaires as?
The SW6 batch.
And what was your first email address?
Batch SW6 at AOL.com. I don't think it exists anymore.
I don't think it does either, but I just thought I'd throw that in there for a little.
That's how much of a Legion fan I am and how much a fan I was of that era. Which I think it ended up the SW6 in that designation I think ended up being because of someone's postal code in the UK, like some because the beer bombs are part of like a global fan community.
Yeah,
that was someone's part of their postal code, so that was the SW6 was in reference to that fan or whatever.
Okay, works for me.
Yeah,
as we work for you by not only trying to provide you with the best reading and viewing material, I say viewing because you can view the art, possible, but also quality customer service and events at the stores. And while we just ended a week-long event, sidebar, somebody called today and said, "Hey, is tonight's event BYOB or will you have alcohol there?" And Gina answered the phone.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, there's no event tonight. And he's like, no, it's the sofa music thing. And she's like, do we have an event? I'm like, maybe there's nothing going on. She's like, no, I'm really sorry, there's no event. And he's like, and he was very confused but hung up. So I looked up like sofa music, whatever, and there is a secret event in Chicago as we're recording this in Bucktown. So the person was extremely close, but just one business away. Turns out it's the barbershop.
The barbershop is doing what?
Having a band there tonight.
In the barbershop?
Yeah, they were actually starting to play as we were leaving.
Okay, how did it sound?
Like a band playing in a barbershop.
Loud?
No, it was not. It was early. They're just setting up, I guess. Maybe just.
Say Hi was is going to be doing a series of their tour. His tour is like living rooms.
Okay,
it's a living room tour.
Sure, yeah,
and public spaces. And so I got the email a week or two ago, and I thought, maybe we should have that at Challengers. But I'm like, they need like 50 to 70 people. Even though a later email would specify like 35 to 50. And I'm like, well, if he'd said 35 to 50, I probably would have said, yes, we could have it at Challengers. 50 to 70 was like, eh. But it was like the night that it would have been in Chicago, it would have been like a Friday night, and I would be in River North.
Well, we could switch for that day.
So either we'd have to switch, or like, it was just like, I don't know. So I ended up not doing it. And then on Apple Music, I'm like, Say Hi's got a new album out. Listen to it. Real glad I didn't do that tour. That worked out for Dal. In only one way.
Well, so we may not ever have Say Hi perform at the store, but this Saturday, the 22nd, in Bucktown, we have the creators from the comic Rose Society signing from 2 to 5. Damon Hampton and their collaborator for the book. And I apologize, I do not know their name. But they will be at the Bucktown location. And then the Thursday before C2E2, February 27th, we've got stuff going on at each store. In Bucktown will be Kelly Williams, the artist of the brand new graphic novel, A Letter to Joe, about a real life story of a Polish American machine gunner's experiences in World War II. And this is written by his grandson, actually based off of the letter that he wrote, and it's all about the war. And it was painfully researched from all the things that he'd said into it. And so not only that, but Kelly Williams will have other work of theirs available.
Cool.
But I think we need to get a couple more letters to Joe.
Okay.
In stock.
Will do.
Provided Diamond still has it. And that is in Bucktown on that Thursday. In River North that Thursday, Zenescope Comics will be set up with like their convention stock, with a bunch of exclusives and debuts and things selling at the store the day before they set up and start selling them at C2E2. And then immediately after C2E2, that Monday, in River North, Kelly Williams will be signing. The artist from the current graphic novel, Letter to Joe.
What's that about?
I haven't read it yet. I'm not sure. We actually had somebody looking to buy it this week in Bucktown, but we were out.
Oh, yeah, I guess we should get more then.
Yeah. And this is a big one. This one, I don't even think you know about this.
Okay.
Which you'll have to because it's on your day.
Okay.
This happened a few times last year, but
I saw it on the calendar.
It's very exciting.
I'm very excited. I have money set aside.
Nice. On Sunday, March 15th, Girl Scouts will be at Bucktown selling Girl Scout cookies. Now, it's a whole new troop. It is not the troop we had the last 2 years.
No.
They have moved on from the Scouts. So what this was is literally a club member who I am friends with on the Facebooks had mentioned something about it in a post, and I jumped in and said, hey, if you're looking to sell at a store, we're short a troop this year. And then he put us in touch with the people that would be doing it, and they picked that date. We don't have a time yet, and I don't know the troop number, which is why we've not said it.
Okay.
But Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, psyched.
Plenty of them.
Psyched.
There's a new cookie this year, but there's no guarantee they're going to have it, I think. And it's so weird when if you look at Girl Scout cookies around the country because they're vastly different. Like the s'mores one we get is a sandwich cookie. Mm-hmm. The s'mores ones in a different part of the country is a fudge covered one.
That encourages people to travel all over the country getting different Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, uh-huh.
It's in the same way that we would have a red shirt at one sale and a blue shirt at the other sale.
Oh, I see.
Same psychology.
And we're also doing a Power Rangers thing with someone, but more details on that later.
Which, unfortunately, it's not my tokusatsu. I don't do the Sentai stuff.
I guess. Thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155.
And in the River North neighborhood of Chicago at 750 North Franklin Street, number 103, 312-285-2252.
Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.